Welcome to another episode. So I thought I'd show you a little bit around Point Samson. So I've come down to this little creek just out of Point Samson called Sam's Creek. We're going to have a hand at fishing if the flies let us. So it's about 6:30 in the morning and it's dead low, so we're going to have to wait for the tide to come in. But in the meantime, I might just gear up and we'll just have a little flick around with some lures. The sandflies are ripe down here, so if you're ever down here, make sure that you bring some sandfly repellent. So it's still too shallow for a little 3-meter diver. I'm going to move on now because I'm getting absolutely nailed by sandflies. Every spot where I haven't rubbed the cream, they've attacked. So what we'll do is we'll come back later. I'll go and have a little explore around Cossack, which is a old town that I'll tell you more on the way because I'm still getting eaten by sandflies. So I'm not sure if that'll pick up on camera, but they've made it into the car. So what I'm going to do, I'll wait a couple of hours, so we'll fill in that time. I'll take you out to a place called Cossack, which is pretty close to here, only a few k's out. So, Cossack's a little town around Broome and Wickham. When Point Samson came about and they installed their jetty early 1900s, the town was dissolved, and by 1950 it was actually a ghost town. A bit later on, and a few museums and a tourist centre was put in. But in 2024, they were shut down after arguments with the government for funding and whatnot. So there's actually nothing there now. It is a ghost town. But we'll go in and have a look. There's some few old buildings and things that we can have a look at. Oh, and for the record, did not work. This is my tried and tested. Everywhere I go looking for mud crabs, out in the mangroves, etc. But it did not help this morning. So this is the old schoolhouse. It isn't very big. It's quite a small building. In relatively good shape though. All boarded up so you can't go inside. So back in the 1800s, the cheapest way to get to Cossack was by boat until they installed this tramway. So the tramway connected Broome and Cossack. So this would have to be the most southern boab tree that I've seen in all my travels. So I didn't even know that this was here. Unreal. So if you're travelling from the old schoolhouse towards the town centre, if you take the dirt road, it's along that route. I've just decided to take a little goat track here, and we'll see where it ends up. Bit of excitement for the morning. So that little goat track that we took took us down to an old well. Couldn't imagine digging that in this blistering heat. I suppose it might be a bit cooler down there. So the Galbraith store, so they're advertised as being merchants for shipping stock and mining. They also sold pearls. So there was a pearl farm back here, back in the day. It's just unreal, like having a look at the old buildings, how much effort has actually gone into these. And so this is where you'd get sent if you'd been a naughty boy or girl. This is the courthouse. I'll tell you what, they've spent some time on this. Not sure if you can see that. That would be the judge's seat. Oh yeah, you can see it there. It's unbelievable how this isn't on the tourist map. You know, there should be displays and whatnot that people can come and visit. Buildings like this are just left here now. They certainly don't build them like that anymore. I wonder how old some of this stuff is. Well, I wish I had my drone here to show you this river system. I think this would hold a fair few good fish. When you come to places like this, it's always hard not to imagine what the town would have been like back in the day. I mean, for the size of this town to have 2 general stores, a harbour, courthouse, it would have to be bustling. It would have to be quite a busy place back in the day. So just walking up the trail to the Reader Head lookout. Once again, Unbelievable. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there's looks like a family out there that have just walked all the way to the car park on the other side of the hill there. Massive walk. Not sure what they'll be doing. So I know it's not like king tides that you get in Broome or Derby, but if you look out here, the tide has gone out all the way here. And then on this side of the point, the beach is here. Tides come all the way back to the beach here. Unbelievable. So I just walked out the back of the old Asian market, and there's a massive retaining wall that runs all the way around with loose stone. It would have to be half an acre at least that they've retained. So I'm presuming that it used to be an open market with tables and stalls and whatnot set up. And then they have these big, I don't know what they would be, bins or something like that. I'm not too sure if they were dug down and they had a lid on them like this one. Keeping things cool. Not too sure. A few bones in this one. Obviously that's not the cemetery or anything like that. This is out the back of a market stall, so. So I've just come back into the Cossack town centre after visiting all the places that are on the Cossack Heritage Trail. But I did see a little goat track heading down to the river mouth on my travels. So I'm sitting here pondering that it's probably rude not to throw a line in the water while I'm here. So I might head back out again and we'll go and have a look at a little fishing spot. Hopefully no sandflies, but I would say there's a high chance that it is going to be full of sandflies. Slight change of plans. The trail in's quite rocky and I'm by myself, so probably best not to. What we'll do, we'll save that for another time when I've got someone else with me, maybe another car. It'll save me from being bogged or stranded for hours until someone else decides to come fishing. So I think we'll hit the road again and we'll go back into Point Samson, and I'll probably wait on the tide. I think it's going to start coming up about 12 o'clock today. So we'll go and get a coffee. I might show you the general store into Point Samson. I'll grab a coffee and then we'll just wait it out for another couple of hours. So the town of Cossack, unbelievable that it can just be left here. No one's actually living here. The scenery around here is absolutely breathtaking. and I can't believe that it's now a ghost town. Well worth checking it out on your way through. It's not a far drive off the highway. Come in, spend the night at Point Samson, beautiful caravan park there, and the views here in Cossack. Absolutely amazing. Couldn't help myself. Found another goat track leading off the side of the river. Obviously it leads to a honey hole. So let's give it a go. Looks like this might be a boat ramp into the river. See how we go, but looks like someone's had a bad time here. I'm not sure if you can see it up here is the town of Cossack. So not too far out of town. Bit skeptical on the amount of water though, so she's quite low. We'll see how we go. Alrighty, that was a bit of a bust. 3 casts in, there goes a $30 lure. So anyway, while I was over here trying to get my lure back, I've seen these crabs unbelievably red. I'll see if I can get one on camera. Look at them. Tell you what, they would want to be quick. Look at this bloody claw on this bloke. Look at the size of him. They'd want to be quick because they stand out from afar, and I'd imagine there'd be quite a few birds of prey around here. Well, obviously we get some mud mussels here as well. These guys having a tussle. Oh. David Attenborough, eat your heart out, eh? Oh, they are savage. Looks like there could be. Looks like there could be quite a few juvenile mud crabs around. I don't really have a hook or anything with me, and the mud is that slippery. But Cossack, you definitely have a lot to offer. Whereas fishing, mud crabbing, just exploring those old sites, it's unbelievable. Anyway, sandflies have cottoned on to my presence now, so I'm going to hightail it back to the car. We'll pick up again back in Point Samson there. So this is Honeymoon Pool in Point Samson. Nice little beach. It's quite small, so if there's a few groups of people down here, it might start getting a bit crowded. But absolutely unreal. The place looks like you're on Mars. So the tide's all the way out at the moment, but you can imagine once the tide's up, beautiful white sandy beach. One thing you do have to remember though is all these rocks don't disappear when the tide comes up. So this is the high tide line. So imagine at high tide, you're sitting up on the beach here, and you have all this under the water. Beautiful spot, but yeah, you come across on those rocks quite easy. So a little hidden gem straight across from the boat ramp in Point Samson is Westmore Seafoods. So they do a whole range of different seafood, mainly fish fillets, pre-prepared in cryovac bags, like convenient size, so fits straight in the caravan freezer or the car fridge. Very nice fish. So if I don't catch a fish today, we're heading back before 2 o'clock, picking up a couple of fillets for dinner tonight, I think. It's a good sunrise, sunset spot, that one. I'll put a reel in here.
You can be who you wanna be. Ooh, I got this light inside.
Righto, so we're not going to start doing fire reviews, but when in Rome, so it looks like good pastry. Quite crunchy, not too bad, but we'll have to do the Jamie bite. Not a bad pie. So after a careful deliberation, I can confirm that Manjimup Butcher Shop still got the lead. So Point Samson Caravan Park, nice park, nice green grass, big sites for your vans. They do have chalets as well, right on the ocean. So I've been popping with the lure for a good 20 minutes now. No action, tide's coming rushing in. So I thought that I'll try and catch some liveys, and I'll chuck the hand line out there. I've had success before. Sorry, I can't talk when I'm counting. I've had success before on a livey in this spot, so we'll give it a go, see what happens. So a couple of decent sized ones there. There's probably a couple too big for what gear I'm running. If we're up north a bit further, they'll be perfect baits, 200mm baits. Bang on for Pilbara. Alright, so what I normally do, 10-0 hook, 100-pound hand line, lift up a couple of scales towards the back fin on the line where it transitions from brown to silver. Lift them up, hook in front of where the fin is, below the brown line. So through a silver bit, poke them in, all the way out. Now, very important to check that there's no loose scales around the tip of that hook, because that can prevent you hooking your fish. Righto, we all know what happens now. All the excuses start coming out. And no, didn't catch any fish. So, as promised, is the fish from the local supplier. I spent the afternoon getting chased around by sharks and snagging another lure. So that was 2 down for the day. Anyway, it wasn't all bad. I ended up heading over to the Point Samson pub where I had a marinara, pint of beer and an awesome view. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode. It's a bit different for me, just by myself, without Jamie here. But in the future, they should all be with myself and Jamie. Anyway, have a good one.